Haiti borders with the Dominican.
Her name is Serena Buffalino. They call her Mrs. B, and her class always begins with a pledge.
Something local, something global. Haiti.
They're words that carry
Yes.
weight here. Helping yourself means helping others, giving back, here and a world away in Haiti.
And nobody's helping them, except for people like us.
It was through her the class learned of Haiti, of the nearly 1 million orphans, many with no school, no support, no Mrs. B in their lives.
They could not wrap their head around that.
Mrs. B's students are among Toronto's most at risk. Their challenges vary from emotional and behavioral difficulties to learning disabilities. Their trauma so severe they can't function in a regular school setting, and we aren't allowed to show most of their classmates.
For most of the kids, most of society has turned them away. And in this classroom, they're accepted. They're accepted no matter what for who they are.
Take Yolanda. She came here last year so burdened and withdrawn, she would often fall silent, sometimes for days on end. It was, she says, Mrs. B's patience, her quiet encouragement, that saved her.
She actually saves people's lives from dangers.
And perhaps that's why these marginalized kids feel such a kinship with the orphans of Haiti, and why they were moved to act.
And so when Yolanda and Jackie and Patrick said, well, Miss B, we need to build them a school.
Build a school, no easy task. They started out raising money. They sold samosas, washed cars, screened movies, you name it. And in just a few months, this little class raised $20,000. So much, it's not just a one-room schoolhouse they can build, but a full 3-story school. And so Mrs. B set off on a journey she'd dreamed of, up into the dusty mountains above Port-au-Prince to a town called Canaan. It's home to thousands of earthquake refugees who live with no running water, no electricity, and no school, until now. The first step was a temporary school. It's up and running, 53 students already in uniform. The permanent school for 250 is growing from its foundations.
It makes me want to cry because she just makes me feel so awed, and I'm very proud of her.
All of this because of a handful of students back in Canada and Mrs. B, the teacher who believed in them.
These are for you.
At another fundraiser, a special tribute to the students, accepted by someone who without Mrs. B might not be here.
They believe in me and I believe in them, and together we not only change our lives, but we change the world around us.
For inspiring great things and seeing the potential in everyone, Serena Buffalino is this week's Everyday Hero.
This is the reason why I do what I do, is because of Yolanda and all the...
Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody doing? It is Friday, and I'm telling you, we have a show today. Woo! It is Friday. I mean, I'm just loving it. We have some, I call the women that I bring on this show Queen Diamonds. And we have 3 Queen Diamonds coming on today. I'm telling you, I have been pumped all week. I know we had our show on Monday and Wednesday, but I love when I can just really gel and talk to the women and really, really understand who they are, what they do, and how powerful they are. Now, before we start the show here, well, we started the show already, but before we really start by bringing the guests, I always have to give you something to kind of think about, some positive stuff to kind of go in your mind, because that's what it's all about, right? There's enough negative in the world. We all kind of see that and know that, but I feel like we're moving in the right direction. And I'm giving a little hint to what kind of happened the other day, but we're not going to go into that because this is more about, talking about the ladies. But the only thing I want to say is the biggest thing that's going to help this world, and I've been putting this out here for the last few weeks, is LOVE. We need, and I beg of everybody, we just need to still show the love, give those virtual hugs, go into people's, text a person, I am a person, just to ask them how they're doing. It doesn't take that much. How they doing? I was just thinking about you. Just do those little things, and I'm telling you, they add up to so much. And going right into that, I want to talk about the 3 L's real quick. I've been doing this for a few weeks. The 3 L's: live every moment. This is a little thing I keep next to me. Laugh every day and love beyond words. 3 L's that I kind of put on the side of my computer every day to make sure that I'm doing that every day. We got to live every moment, enjoy every second of the day. You do not know when, our expiration day is up. So we need to make sure we're living. And when we're living every moment, that we're in somebody's life, giving them some encouragement, helping them, moving them to the next level in life, not just us. We can't just be selfish in this life. We have to make sure that we're really working with each other. And then laugh every day. You see, I'm always having a smile on my face and just laugh. I mean, look for a joke. Look at a comedian, just get your laughter out. And then the biggest thing that I always say, that I've been saying, is love beyond words. So with that, remember that through the whole day, not just for these few minutes that I'm telling you. And we are going to start the show. Every time I hear that music, I'm telling you, before, remember I told you a few weeks ago, I am thinking about getting drums. I'm literally thinking about getting a drum set because I love the beat of that song. So with that, I know. It's gonna come. You're gonna see me with a drum set on the show in a minute here. So let's go straight to, because we want to give the time that we have within this hour. I want to give enough time for these queens to come on. First, we're gonna have Miss Alex McRae. She is coming on. I'm telling you, this lady, phenomenal, phenomenal. You talking about royalty. So I'm going to bring her on right now so we can meet this wonderful lady. Yes, there she is.
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Lady. Miss Lady, did I say your name right? Alex McRae?
It's actually just pronounced McCrae. It's as if you
McRae.
had dropped the A, but my father would be horrified if someone dropped the A. He always said the MCs were Irish and he was Scottish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't want to. So it's McRae.
It's just McCrae. Yep.
Great. Okay, Miss Alice. Well, like I said before, I always call the women Queen Diamond. So you have been deemed a
Thank you.
royalty. Yeah. So before we just get into your wonderful and genius gifts that you have for the world, how are you doing this Friday?
Well, it's a little early here because I'm on the West Coast, so it's just after 6. So I was up at 4:30 to hair and makeup and
Oh my
get
God.
have my morning cup of tea so that I would be conscious at 6 a.m. and ready to go. But yeah, it's going to be a lovely sunny day here, and spring has sprung, and things are starting to bloom. So there we go. Yeah.
It's nice that you said spring has sprung because here I live in Wisconsin, and everybody's like, "Well, here in Wisconsin, they say, oh, it's still cold and everything like that." I said, "No, we do get spring. It does come around. You get a peak of it." But then I said that too soon because just the other day we had some snow.
Yeah, well, it happens. I mean, I live in Canada. I'm sure people think it's constant winter here. It's not, but it has been known in northern BC, which is where I am, to snow. It can snow in May, And you can have a hard frost in August, so you got to protect your garden if you're growing food. So, but no, where I am, it's warm and sunny, and it gets very hot here. So
Mm,
I'm in wine country, so it's lovely here.
wow.
Yeah, it's
I
really, really
love
nice.
Canada. I've been to Canada 3 times in my life. And the first time I went, I said, I want to move to Canada. I want to move to Canada. I was real young. I was in my 20s. Now I'm telling my age. But yes, I wanted to move to Canada. I just loved the surround. I went to, because I went for my job for one. I stayed there for 3 weeks. And I'm telling you, Alex, I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go back. The people were so nice, and just the whole atmosphere of it was really wonderful. So I give Canada so many thumbs up.
Yeah,
Loving it. Love
I guess we have a reputation for being the polite people.
it. Yeah.
So
I don't want to say that out loud, but yeah, you're right.
it's true. I mean, we have odd pieces of legislation. You can say you're sorry in Canada without admitting liability. It's a legal thing, but it's just like
Mm,
people here wanted to say I'm sorry, and sometimes insurance companies, being insurance companies, would say no, you can't say that, and everybody said no, we should be able to. So they actually created an act where you can say you're sorry for anything, and that doesn't mean that you're responsible as far as the insurance companies and the courts go. They'd rather you said you're
wow.
sorry. Yeah.
Oh,
So I
that's why
mean,
I was feeling sorry. That's why I was scared a lot of that. That
that's
makes sense
true. It's
now.
like you hear people, and we're under lockdown here. So when you go to the grocery store, I mean, you have to keep your social distance, right? And if you get too close to somebody, you'll hear it throughout the aisle. Sorry, sorry. And everyone's like, no, it's okay. Sorry. It's our thing.
It's like a little
It's,
song going.
it's a thing.
Oh wow. So Miss Queen, let's go right into it. You're an influencer, you're a consultant, you're a speaker, you're an author. The list goes on in personal development. You help people with relationships. I mean, you do so much. So please let the listeners know. Just give us the end. I always ask people because when I'm interviewing people, I want to know how you started to get to this gift and this genius that you have. So how did it all start for you?
Well, I suppose I was raised in a family that was absolutely committed to social justice and community work. So everybody in our family volunteered, was politically active, was really focused on contributing to our community. So when you grow up that way, you just kind of constantly are involved in doing community endeavors. And I have a teaching degree. I have a Bachelor of Education. They don't do those anymore, but you have to do a degree and then learn how to teach it. But I have a BEd, and just over the years, just was working with people. I don't know, people would always come to me and go, you have the best advice. And it was kind of a thing I fell into, that as an educator, because they cut it, I couldn't be a teacher, so I became an educator. And part of my career was working in journalism, so I have a knack for writing things. So now with the internet and my own process of discovery and personal growth, it's like you can interview anybody in the world because you can find them, you can Zoom with them, you can get the
Yes.
information you need. And so that has really contributed to me taking all the things that I learned on the consciousness trail, getting involved in personal development, and taking that information and putting it into step-by-step processes so that people can learn how to do what you do, and they can learn how to do it easily. So, so much of the teaching around, it's like, you'll hear people say, well, you just need to become self-aware. And I'm like, well, how do you do that? What are the steps involved in that? So that's what I would do, is take those ideas and break them down and go, the meditation practice is something I absolutely believe in. So how do we do that meditation? How do we commune with, whether you call it source or God, or you're a Christian or a Buddhist, there's always a way to draw closer to that energy. And how do we do that? So that's what I would do, is take questions and listen to people on what they were struggling with and come up with programs. and go, well, yeah, I think I can do that. And so that's what I would do, is I would make things and just go, here, you can have this, So yeah, that's how I started. It was just an evolution of learning how to take what I had learned and put it into a language and a format that made it easy for people to access. So that's how I got here.
That is awesome, Alice. I love how, when you were saying that, it was kind of ingrained in you, when you were growing up, because already you had that like platform, you had that, that base, that foundation,
Yeah.
to do it. So
And
I'm loving that.
and I still believe in it. I still believe that if you are active in your personal growth and your spiritual growth, that it's part of your almost obligation to contribute to your community. You don't get to hoard your gifts. You have to spread them out into the community. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? To make our
Yeah.
communities a better place to live. So that's always a component about the work that I do, is get out there and do something.
And we need it right now. You know what you're doing right now is just so on point right now, with a
Yeah.
lot of things that are going on. And I know you're in Canada, but in the world, first of all, we're dealing with this pandemic, so everybody's dealing with that. I mean, there's no
Yep.
like escaping from this. That's just the elephant in the room.
Yes.
So, I was going to ask you, with dealing, with this coming in for the last year and now a year and a half going into it, how have you been kind of like maybe evolving in a different direction because of that?
Well, it's certainly given me more time and less distractions to sort of do more of that inward journey work. Because, we live in the Western world. We have a lot of things going on. There is noise around us all the time. For instance, you might hear my cat having a freak out moment in the background. He's okay. He's just a little jealous.
Oh,
But so we've had that time to sort of look inward without so many distractions. And, you can only binge Netflix for so long. And
yeah.
here in British Columbia, we went into lockdown last March. And so we've been in lockdown over a year, and we're back in severe lockdown. Like, you cannot even live, like, we're governed by different areas that deal with our health, like they're called health authorities. And you can't travel outside of your health authority right now, because the variants are causing so many people to get sick, and our hospitals are overwhelmed, and they're having to make some very serious decisions about who will get ventilators and who will not. So we're on lockdown again. So you have to sort of figure out how you're going to live around that. Now, I'm lucky. I have 2 horses, so I get to go out to my barn every day. And
Awesome.
and
Wow.
women who have horses, we tend not to stand close to one another because we typically have a horse attached. So, and we don't want the horses to get fussy with one another, so we tend not to stand too close to one another. And so I've been lucky in that I have I share my tack room with 2 other young women, lovely young women. And I'll be going out there in about 4 hours because today's a riding day. So I at
Hmm.
least so I do have some social interaction. And then, of course, we have Zoom and YouTube and all these other ways of being
Mhm.
able to meet with one another. And that's really wonderful because it's expanded our footprint, not to just our local physical community. I mean, I study with and work with people who live in England or in the eastern United States. So it's opened up a world that I mean, I've known about it for a while, but I think for the general population, it's opened up a world to, like, we can have community of like-mindedness now as opposed to geography.
I am so glad you said that, Queen, because I'm loving it. I mean, I don't like the pandemic part of it. We all don't.
Yeah.
But, see, I always tell people you can either make go right or left. So
Yep.
some people can go left and be like, get into this, mood and say, oh, what was me? And, I'm stuck and everything like that. But you can sit there and say, what can I turn around in this situation, in this atmosphere right now? What can I do a little bit different and still say, first of all, sane, and also
Yeah.
be able to still move forward? And I think, like you said, with Zoom and all the, these things that we have, this like technology that we have, that it has expounded me to meet people like you and other people in different countries. And I'm just like a little kid in candy store. I'm loving meeting, especially the ladies in the different areas, different countries,
Yep.
because you find out that we all still, even though we live in different areas in life, we still have that same, motivation, encouragement. The love is there. Yeah, I'm loving it.
Exactly. I think one of my first Zoom interviews was the moderator was in Kampala. And it's like, yeah, so she's in Kampala, I'm in British Columbia, and we're talking about relationships, right? So it's just you just sort of go, right, Kampala, who'd have thought? Like,
Yes.
we wouldn't have thought of pivoting our businesses to be online and to really learn the process of engaging with each other and creating relationships. Like, we've always thought, oh, my relationships and my friendships have to be with the person who lives next door. Well, now we've got this worldwide network where we can have friends and we have deep, deep relationships with people that we've met online who are important to us. We share each other's lives. And so, it's opened up opportunities for us, and we have a couple of mutual friends, and they're dear friends of mine, and I care about what happens with them, and I want to know what they're doing every day. So, it looks different, and the pandemic has been horrible, and lots of people have suffered from it. But also, the other thing is, we've gotten some new things out of it. We can clearly see that not driving creates better air for us to breathe.
Yes.
We've
Yes.
discovered ways of connecting with people we didn't know before. We've had to change our business. So rather than our business being focused on a small geographic area, we have the world as our oyster now. So, we've had to change, but it hasn't been all for the worst. Some of it's been good.
Yeah, and that's what I said. And I'm glad, as we mentioned that, because I get both ends of it. When I hear people talking about, and then I get other people like, wow, I just got a new client in Mexico, or
Yep.
I just talked to this person here, or I came into this group, this summit online with like thousands of people, and we all got to connect and network. See, and that's the kind of thing that we have to keep pushing for.
Yeah.
I know in Wisconsin we were in lockdown. It's a few months ago. I mean, they keep going back and forth. It's just I feel like this is a roller coaster. But
Yeah.
we're going through the vaccine period. We're doing the vaccine right now. In fact, I got my first shot a few weeks ago. I get my second one next Friday.
I get my
But yeah.
first one today.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yep.
Well, the first one, how the story's been happening.
Yep.
Oh, you're gonna, it's from, oh, you don't feel nothing, to, oh my God, you feel you got COVID. I mean, I'm getting two sides of it. So the first one, I'm telling you, Alice, the only thing it did is knock me out to go to sleep. And I was telling my cousin, I said, you know what, maybe that was a good thing for me because I don't get that much
Yeah.
sleep.
Yeah. I can tell. My goodness, woman, you are just so busy. I'm like, how does she survive? So, yeah, maybe a nap's a good thing.
I thrive on you, the queens, and how you are. So it gets me pumping all the time. But yeah, so that's the only thing it did for me. So I know for you, hopefully, it won't. You'll just get the shot. You'll be fine. The second one is the one that people keep telling me it's a little bit different, but we will see. We
Yeah,
will
we'll
see.
see. And I have a good constitution anyways, so I'm not, it's like I'm strong, I'm healthy, and I tease my son, my oldest son, that he's going to have to learn how to build me a ramp that's wide enough for me to get up on my walker so that I can be riding my horses when I'm 95. And he's like, "Oh, mother." No. I intend on being an
You
active
just
old woman.
Yes, you tell them you're just getting prepared because you still want to be doing things when you get older. Yes, we do.
Yes.
They don't understand
Yes.
that we have to prepare ourselves for that.
I know. Well, sons, they always know best, and they just roll those eyes so hard. You're going, I know, dear.
I would just say, just go with the flow. Just go with the flow. Don't even fight it. So now, Alex, before because I know with time, but can you go just through? Because I know you're a speaker too as well. Can you just talk about some of your presentations that you've done?
Well, I haven't, well, with the pandemic, I haven't done any recently. I used to do a lot of work in my community, and I would work with groups of ladies, about 10 to 15 at a time. We'd have a ladies' night with a twist. And, sometimes people want to know who you are, how you act. Do they feel comfortable with you? So I would do these ladies' nights where I would entertain questions about relationship and career and, communication issues and those sorts of things. And then people would book sessions with me after that because it gave them a way to sort of figure out, do I want to work with this person? Do I feel comfortable with them? So that was the work I was doing before the pandemic hit. So now what I've done is taken all of that and put it into a course so that, I can meet with people, talk about them, consult. Just earlier this week, I was talking with a potential client who is in Brazil. So that's how life has changed. So it's not my little community anymore, it's Brazil. And I have clients in Australia and Southeast Asia and Scandinavian countries. So that's sort of been a developing business. And speaking engagements for me have shut down entirely this past year. And the last speaking engagement I had was with the union here where I live. And we were talking about housing because my community service is being a housing advocate for tenants. And so we had a presentation about how tenants could preserve their housing. And, then the pandemic hit, we'll try and find a place to live. So that's sort of been a lot of my social justice work has involved public speaking because I'm an advocate for people and disenfranchised people. And it's like, no, you need to own your voice and you need to make that voice heard and you need to get out there and do this because your contribution makes our community better. So that's what I do. I work a lot with tenants on, I call it my side hustle, but it really is a heart
Like
hustle.
heart.
But
Oh, I like that. I'm going to have to use that.
yeah, a
Heart hustle.
heart hustle.
Yes.
So and but then I have this other thing like where I have taken my experiences. Oh, Barbara, you'll love this. I was so bad at dating. I was so bad at dating that I dated the same guy in different bodies for 20 years. I was so bad. It was crazy. And and so I'm a law of attraction specialist. And one day the light bulb went off and I went, why don't I use my law of attraction knowledge to figure out how to have the person I really want in my life? So I started writing and I wrote and I was looking at physically what did they look like, what was their character like, how were their relationships with their families, did they have lots of friends, what did just the whole picture. And he showed up and we met online on an online dating site and there was an age difference. He was younger than me and I was like, you checked out what my age is? He went, oh yeah, no, I'm fine, that's good. And so we talked over the internet and we had a couple of phone calls, actually sort of like a month of phone calls. And he was going to be in my area because he wasn't from around here. And he came down on, we have a thing in Penticton where I live called the Peach Festival in August. And he came down and we knew that if that spark wasn't there, we'd at least be able to have a good dinner because we could talk, right? He knocks on the door. I open up the door and I look at him and I'm like, oh my God, it's him. And he looked at me and went, oh, it's her. And we were done from that time. It was done. It was over. And it was a relationship that was filled with ease. And I don't mean easy because, we're human beings. We do have bumps in the road in our relationships. But there was such a commitment to the relationship that I knew that an argument wasn't going to break us up. That the bumps in the road were just bumps in the road, but we were committed to the relationship. He was committed to my children, and it was fabulous, and we just fit one another. We would drive from here, we would drive to another city in our province where he was doing business, which is a 10-hour drive from where I live. We'd get in the car, we'd be driving along, we'd be listening to NPR, holding hands, and we wouldn't talk. Like, we just wouldn't talk. We were just so comfortable with the silence and being together. We'd get the papers on Sunday morning. The boys hated us for this, but we'd sit upstairs drinking our morning tea, sitting in bed with the papers spread all around us, just reading the papers. And he was as politically crazy as I am. And, it was a relationship that was filled with comfort and ease. And I thought, I said to myself, more women ought to be able to have this in their lives. Like, they just ought to be able to have this instead of depending on luck and blind dates and hoping that somehow magically the universe is going to deliver the man of your dreams when you're not even sure about what the heck that looks like. So that's what I do now is I work with people on, I know you want a relationship. Let's make sure that it's the most perfect relationship. So all your, because we all have those things, right? Those quirks that, and it's like, why can we not have a partner who thinks that all of our quirky little behaviors are the most charming things in the world? And that they just adore you for exactly the way you are. And that's what I had, and that's what my clients have, and there are a ton of funny stories about how you get to that process. So
Yes. Well, we
it's
we definitely, I mean, I'm loving this, Alice, because you're teaching me. I'm like, oh, all in golf. So we're definitely going to bring you back. You are
okay.
so welcome back to talk a little bit more of that because, that's the biggest thing. I'm glad you said that story because, first of all, congratulations on finding your soulmate on that. And second, not just with, women and men relationships, but just in general friendship,
Yeah.
business relationships. It's so important right now to really hone in and really understand how to have that work and have the communication there because
Ex-
that's the number one thing.
I agree, and I think that we've because we now have expanded our community in ways that we didn't know we could do even 2 years ago, that it's like we want to have people of like-mindedness around us so that we can be involved in our communities in a way that makes a difference wherever we are. And I think that what I do know from working with people is we as human beings want deeply connected relationships with each other. We want to have someone who is there for us mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. We want all that alignment. And when you find it, see, some people think, oh, well, the dating process is where the magic happens. And I'm like, nah. The magic happens when you meet the person of your dreams that you asked the universe, God, source for, and God went, yeah, here you go. And then the magic happens. That's when the magic happens. And my partner was wonderful. Unfortunately, he passed away. But we had that time together, and it was fabulous to know that no matter what I did, he was still going to love me. And I'm saying that within integrity. I mean, there's a certain degree of integrity in relationships, but however I was within the relationship was not going to break it. He just adored me the way I was every single day, you know. And he'd look at me, he'd go, "Hey, baby, you want to go on a date night?" I go, "Yeah, let's go on a date night." Yeah, so it was
Oh my
wonderful.
God. Well,
Yeah.
I truly adore you, Alex, was Queen, and thank you for spending your early time with me because I know it is early where you're at. So right there, I just give you kudos for that. So can you let all the listeners know where they can contact you?
You can contact me on my website, which is tandtransformation.ca. You can leave comments, like there's places around the website where you can leave comments and I get an email right away. You can also email me directly at alex at tandtransformation.ca. And you have to spell out the and. They won't take that lovely symbol I love to use, but it has to be T and. So there is two A's. It's TEAAND. So, and you can reach me, and I'm available. And if people want to set up a Zoom meeting to find out more about what I do, I'm totally up for that. Not a problem at all. And you'll find stuff. There's free resources, and I'm putting up a book list. I've decided that we have time to read now, so I'm going to add a resources list that has my favorite books to read and that have been recommended by colleagues. So, yeah, there's stuff. So, you know.
Yes. So, like I said, Als, we have to bring you back, but thank you so much for coming on the Diamond Fact Experience show today. I
Oh,
just love meeting you and getting to know you more, and the listeners getting to know you. So, I always wish you so much blessings upon you in your life. And like I said, this is not the end. We will be talking, just to let you know.
hey, thank you, Barbara. And it has been such a delight to meet you. And our mutual friend has been telling me, you've got to meet Barbara. You've got to meet Barbara.
Oh,
So I am so,
cheerleaders.
yes, so I am so happy we have done that. And thank you so much for having me here. And it wasn't all that bad to get up so early in the morning,
Oh,
especially
that's
now
a
that I know
thank
you.
yes.
It was worth getting up.
Awesome.
So
You take care and you enjoy those horses.
I will. And you have a brilliant day. And I
Thank
just know you're going to
you.
make a change in somebody's life today. All
Thank
right?
you. Appreciate
Okay.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.
Okay, so we met Mrs. Alex, one of the Queen Diamonds Day, but we're not done yet. Don't go nowhere. We have two wonderful Diamond Queens coming on right now. They are two wonderful speakers that was with the Level Up conference that was just last week, the Level Up Summit, and they are coming on because we want to get to know them. I always tell people it's one thing just to hear a speaker talk their genius and their gifts, but I always want to ask, I want to unpeel and say, okay, what are they about? How do they get to where they are right now? Why are they just so impactful in life? And these two ladies are a very they're impactors, they're influencers. I mean, the list goes on. So, but I want to bring them out right because they are royalty. So we're gonna bring this little snippet of video, and then we're gonna bring them on so you get to meet these lovely ladies. Here we go. Yes, can you hear me, ladies?
I can hear
Yes.
you.
Hi.
Yes. Hi.
Hello. I'm so glad to have you both on the show, the Diamond
Thank you.
Experience Show.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yes, yes.
Yes. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, and you too. I mean, I just have to. I thank God because you both waited so patiently. I see you in the virtual green room, and I was like, "They're coming! I'm bringing you up. You're coming! You're coming!" So I'm glad for you to be patient with us, and also glad for you to be here so you could talk a little bit about yourself and just give that that goodness that you have. That because I've been reading bios. You know how we read the bio, we look to see who you are, but I mean, I do everything. I just see and hear how much you two are such a great impact in the world. So, first of all, I have to just commend you both for that so much before we even start the conversation. So, thank you so much. So,
Thank
I want to go into, we're going to, because we're having this conversation. It's not going to be just like, it back. I mean, I have a few questions, but basically, we just want to have a conversation with you two. So, I want to start before you go into depth and who you are. Just give us, your full name and then where you're calling from, because I know everybody's all over in the United States or even in different countries. So I'll start with June.
All right. So I am June Chambliss, and I'm calling from the early state right now of California. Okay. Yeah,
Whoa.
but it's all good. So I'm out here in Southern California.
Oh, so you're early. You're the early bird too. Wow, I'm getting
Yeah,
everybody up early. See, yeah,
no,
I
one of those
appreciate that.
early mornings, but it's okay.
Well, you're looking fabulous. You're looking beautiful and amazing.
Oh,
So yes,
great.
yes.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for getting up early for the interview. And then our other queen, please introduce yourself.
I'm Muriel Lawrence, and I'm hailing from Killeen, Texas, which is about an hour away from Austin.
Oh my God, Texas and California. Wow. And I'm in little old little Wisconsin where I'm glad it stopped snowing because it was the other day. Can you believe it? I was like, really? Can we just end this right now? We're almost in
Wisconsin.
May. So we're just going to get right into it. I know you two were part of the Level Up Summit as I call you elite. You had to put a tag on it, but you were speakers in that. But before we, just talk a little bit about that, I mean, I really want to go more into who you are so they can get to know where you started from. So I'm going to start with Marion with, I was looking at you and you are, oh my God, a military, you served. First of all, thank you for serving this country. I want to say
Hmm.
that right off the bat. Thank you for serving the country. A medical logistics officer.
Yes.
You are, you've been in finance, doing finance accounting for over what, 15 years?
Yes.
And you are a speaker, and the list goes on. Lady, please tell us how all this began in your life.
Well, the math or the accounting began at an early age. I started taking accounting in high school, got very interested in it, and continued down that path. Uh, Me going into the military was a coincidence. So when I was in college, one of the upperclassmen made the comment about, just because you're getting a degree in this field and you're going in the workforce doesn't mean that you're going to get the work in the field and with the degree that you want. So you may want to think of a backup plan.
Mm.
And his major was human resource, but he was a manager at Burger King. So it was like, oh, okay, see where we're going with this. So in the military, in the college, they said, well, you have to take a physical education requirement. And I said, okay, gym, close. Swimming, close. Well, what's open? Military science. So I said, okay. Well, I could use the military as a stepping stone. That way, while I'm waiting for my accounting career to take off, that I'm still doing something that I enjoy and would benefit me. So I end up in the military. My first choice was finance, but in the military, you don't get a chance to choose your field based off of your degree. So when I got medical
Mm.
logistics, I said, oh, that's awesome. I could still use my accounting knowledge. So it just blossomed from there.
Wow. And now you like a big advocate in the area. I
Yes.
mean, through all
Hmm.
you do with and then people moving from the military to being civilians again. I know you have a big stand on that to helping people move through that. So just can you tell
Yes.
us a little bit about that too?
So with my time in the military, my first duty station was Fort Stewart. And because it was 3 hours from my hometown, it was perfect. But then I got married and they relocated us. So then it was oh, how do I navigate this new area with a husband, with children. And because my husband was military, it was, oh, I'm really in foreign grounds. So they moved us from Georgia to Alaska. So I'm in Alaska and I'm trying to figure out, how do I continue to pursue my goals? And I said, okay, well, I'm going to work. And one of the ladies that was in our FRG said, why don't you do home daycare? And I said, no, that's not my forte. And she said, okay. So when I started working, I realized how much daycare was costing. And she said, a good bit of your check is going to daycare. And I said, yeah, but I'll take that peace of mind. So
Mm,
I realized there that there's a need for the military spouses to have an outlet, but at the same
mm,
time, provide job and resources for them so that they could continue to support their soldier at the same time, see themselves. So
wow.
that's how all of that started. And when I decided to transition out the military, it was now what? So yes.
I'm loving that because you took, I mean, just listen to your awesome story. You took the opportunities that were there. I mean, you didn't let things like say, man, maybe I better not do that. You thought about it. You said, okay, let's see how it goes. And then you just kind of just went for it. And that's what I love about that because, you never know where you're going to end up. I always
Hmm.
tell people, you never know when that door that opens, that might be the door that you're going to walk into. And then
Yes.
you walk this other door, you be like, oh, okay. Let's
Hmm.
just roll with
Hmm.
it, like they say.
Yes. Hmm.
And you did. And see, look at this is what happened where you just became this person that's really helping others. And, I'm just so glad that you are because a lot of times people military, like you said, once they go through the years and serve. And then it's like, okay, now you got another life now because now you
Right.
serve. Now you're going to retire, you're a vet. And it's like, now what?
Hmm.
So that's like, I'm glad that there's that, like they said, that bridge that you have to cross again. So just so thank you. So
Thank you.
honored for you
Thank
to doing
you.
that. Oh my God. So now let's go to Miss June real quick. June. Oh, here we go.
Hi.
Yes, Miss CEO, woman who matters, leadership.
You have the greatest personality.
Thank
Okay.
you. I'm looking at this lady. You got over 20. I know we're probably telling age, but this is a good reason to tell age. So much wisdom, so much experience. I mean, you're an executive pastor, which I'm loving even more. You're just yes. Please tell us where this wonderful woman started from to get to this point.
Oh my. Well, I tell you what, first of all, I have a Wisconsin story. I
Uh
was
oh.
snowed in, horrible time trying to get out. And I have told the story so many times because we let a stranger anyway get us back. When you said, at least you're not snowed in, I thought, oh, it took me back 20 years ago when I was snowed in to Wisconsin. But I've been so fortunate to land where I have, I'm in the world of leadership. And it was a funny way, the way I got there. I was an administrative assistant for in aerospace. I loved it, could not have been happier. And I had a manager who said to me, June, you are to do something other than what you're doing. My brain could not see that. I was totally happy, and he insisted that I go to school and figure out something else. And as it turned out, long story short, through education and experience and all of that, I ended up in the world of leadership. All right. And so now I'll tell you, that's not a common story because generally in corporate America, it's not uncommon that our male partners are not pushing us along the way in that manner, right? So I was fortunate. So I've done a lot of research in the last few years on female leadership. I'm going to fast forward. And so we've studied all things female leadership. And right now, what's going on in the discussions and leadership development forums, all of those type things, there's a lot regarding female leadership that are been left out. They're not in the discussions. They're not in the research. And we are really trying to promote this idea that women leaders need continued, additional, and new leadership development. And I'll tell you why. So I have a question that I'll say sometimes. I have an analogy. I say that because women leaders, year after year, sometimes decade after decade, for some reason, we continue to come up against the same challenge after challenge year after year, even though we've made great strides in leadership. And so that's a brief right there. I will tell you if I get a chance how I came to Women Who Matter Too, but that's one of my push points that I think we are at a place in our society where women, all right, hold on to your seat. Women, we are going to take us in the remainder of the way, okay?
Yes. Yes.
I'm loving it.
I don't say that. I mean, I know I'm smiling because I'm an optimistic person, but I truly believe if we were at a table discussing it all, we would learn that women are really the ones who are going to go ahead and lead us the remainder of the way.
I'm over here dancing, Jim, because I'm like,
Awesome.
yes, Meryl. So I want you to tap in on that. I want you to tap in on that.
We're
So-
definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yes.
so look, briefly, it was actually, this whole idea started in 2008, right? So I was one of those people. I was still doing some leadership. I was in executive leadership. I was doing some things, but I also crashed. I had a life crash, right? So everything just went kapoops for me. And in that time, I start reaching out to other women leaders, right? Looking for advice and direction and guidance and things like that. And what happened at that time, I'm not relating it to this time, but at that time, oh my gosh, I found so many people sitting in their positions, but they were ill-equipped to do the work, right?
Mhm.
They were there, they had the title, they definitely had the look, all of those things were going on, but they were ill-equipped to do the work. So I found myself out there kind of all by myself. So I started this research, I started this journey, and it leads me here. Now, as I look at what's going on in the world, and let's not talk about 2020, when I look at what's going on in women's leadership, and this is globally, I see that there is a shift taking place in our approaches, right? In our approaches and our development. And now look, we're on a radio show, right? Is this, tell me what this is, Barbara. You know,
TV streaming.
now
Yeah.
you know I'm gonna pay for that statement, right? I know that. So what I'm gonna say is I say it gingerly, what I'm getting ready to say, and I know others will see it, but it's the leadership models that were developed by men. When they were developed, they did not have women in mind because at the time, women were not in leadership. And so I'm noticing that we are developing women in another way that does not fit what's been going on in leadership. I think all of you, we can look right now, we're having challenges with our leaders. It's not unusual to hear about our leaders failing, right? And being sidetracked. And I usually don't like to go dark. I like to stay up, right? But I'm just saying, we're having a challenge in leadership. And women are learning new things about leadership that we will not continue the same models that have gone forth. And so that's what I mean by we're going to take it in. We're doing things differently. That's what our training is all about. We're learning differently, doing it differently. It will have a different impact. It will have a different outcome. So I'm going to ask this, Barbara and Muriel. Listen to this, okay? If everything was so great in leadership, if everything was so great in 2020, weren't we all getting ready to go over the cliff? In every aspect of our society, I'm going to stop right there, okay?
So you're going to throw that out there, June, and then you're going to stop right there. Okay.
I'm going to stop right there.
I love it. I love it. Well, Muriel, I want to get just because June really brought up a lot of good points, especially regarding leadership and women. So, what is your take on that? Because right now, I mean, we have to. Well, first, we do have a vice president in the United States that's a woman right now. So,
Yes.
you know, something that we're all, I think, to this point. I think first I was in shock, then I was in a little like, did this really happen? Then I was in shock again. And then I'm like, it really did happen. And then I look at the inauguration and I'm like, oh my God, this is really happening. So, you know,
Yeah.
and it's sad, and I'm saying it like that because us as women, you know, we all been waiting. I mean, it's been so long just to get to that point. So, Mira, I want you just to shed a little bit on leadership and how that's going with women right now. This is a good thing to talk about for a minute.
It's an excellent thing to talk about, and I'm so excited that we are moving to the forefront and not staying in the shadows. So I'm just excited about it. Within the military, there's a lot of female leadership that's moving up as well, as well as outside the military in corporate America, and it's just an awesome thing to see. So I'm very excited for it. Can't wait to see what the future continues to hold for it.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned about the military because I was a little bit concerned about that because sometimes that could be a man's word, and how things are going with the women. Because hey, we stood up, we standing up, we got in all areas, Marines, and all that. So we can do it just like the men can, and our leadership can be in that area as well. So I'm glad to hear that that's happening in the military world as well because
Yes.
we don't want it to be like, okay, you're here, but no, you're still kind of doing stuff. Like, no, we got to get all areas, right, June? We got to get all areas at leadership for women.
Listen, I always say when it comes to women's leadership, you're correct. We need all hands on deck because we are moving, like you said, Muriel, to the forefront, but we still have a long ways to go. I heard someone say just this week that, one victory that we had this week, it wasn't necessarily justice, it was accountability, but we still need justice. So in leadership, we're moving to the forefront, but we still need a lot more to continue in that right direction. So yeah, we need the military, we need all hands on deck for this.
Yes. Well, before we get it, because I have one more question, and I want everybody just to know how to contact both of you. But before that, I gotta give our sponsors their due. So we're gonna go real quickly, and then we'll be right back.
All right.
I'm hanging on your every word, the love inside, I feel it burn. I've never felt this way before. I've had a taste, now I want more. So here we are, just you and me. I'm overwhelmed when you touch me. You talk so sweet, I hear the sound, 'cause when you do, my feet won't touch the ground. My feet won't touch the ground.
Okay, we are back with these two wonderful queens. We're getting to know them a little bit more. And before we sum up everything, I want to make sure that I ask one question that I would like for each one of you to just respond as your, feedback about leveling up. And then also just let people, the listeners know where they can contact you wonderful queens so they can continue the conversations, continue the growth with you. So I'm going to start with Miss June. And please let us know, what do you think, just, just like in like a minute of what do you look at as leveling up is about, and then give your contact information to everybody.
I think I would say what I think leveling up is all about is learning. Leveling up is continued learning, continued growth, continue being awake. We can't just sail through anymore. Business as usual is over, right? So leveling up is continued learning. We really can't go without that. And so I stand on that. That's my take, and I stand on it. Okay, so you can reach me. I'm so privileged to be here for this brief time. You can get me on my website at Women Who Matter Too, and that is TOO.org. You can get me on my Instagram, Twitter. I am at Women Who Matter Too, but that is numeric 2. And you can always reach me at the website, at my email, which is www.ministry.org. www.mt.ministry. Oh, no, it's not. It's www.ministry@gmail.com. Okay? Thank you again so much.
Please, yeah, we want to rewind and correct that. That's good too. Thank you so much. Thank you, lady. And then Miss Queen Lawrence here. Tell us about Level Up. What do you think Level Up is in your world? And just give people your contact information so they can contact you.
Level up in my world is personal and professional growth, becoming more well-rounded in everything that you do, and continuing to grow and strive to be the best that you can be in all areas of your life. You can reach me at chosenforcapital.com. That's the number 4. And you can reach me by email at mlawrence@chosenforcapital.com. And
So,
thank
okay.
you for having me.
Oh no, thank you for gracing the TV show this morning. You and Miss June. Now, this is what I do this all the time. So you ladies, just you're gonna have to listen to this before you leave. Okay, this is what I'm gonna say. Everyone, I'm talking to the listeners now. Every listener out there, you see these 2 queens? I need you to contact them, get with them. If you know somebody that needs help in the areas that they deal with, tell them about June and these 2 queens in Maryland. Because a lot of things, people see people, they see us interview, and then they just they move forward. And I'm like, no, they're on here to talk about who they were. You see, they're just a light of, the impactors. But then we need to move forward in that. We need to support each other. That's what I'm trying to say. So support these 2 ladies. Because, what else? There's no excuse. I'm just going to say there's no excuse. So I just had to put that out there. That's my little like tap, tap, tap on people's shoulders and people's hands to say, I just want people to support, the people that I bring on, because you 2 are fabulous. I want to bring you back. If you're welcome to come back on the show and talk a little bit more what you do, or if there's anything coming up that we need to know about you 2 that we really want to put out there and let the listeners know. So thank you for gracing the stage today and just being who you are in the world. Love you 2 ladies. And all blessings among you for business, financial, health, and in your personal life. I truly, truly wish that upon each one of you. So
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we will see each other. And again, happy Friday to you 2. And we will move forward here. Let's see. Here we go. See, I told everybody this was going to be an awesome show with some awesome queen diamonds. It's just, this is one of the reasons why I really love this show and that I created the Diamond Factor experience because you get to know so many wonderful impactors in this world. And we need to know the positive right now. We need to pump positive, just like June was talking about leadership and woman leadership, but just in general each and every one of us is a leader in our own right. When people are watching you every single day, how you're going to make decisions, what are you going to do, what's the next thing that your next steps that you're taking? Are you reaching back to the youth? Are you helping people grow? I mean, people look at all that. So just the little things, and I don't want people to think, well, I don't really do anything. I'm not really a leader. Yes, you are a leader. Just showing up in life is being a leader. Just showing up in life. So, but once you want to show up in a positive manner so you can move somebody else, so you can have somebody move forward, in the world. And we need that. We need that. I started off the show by saying, what's the biggest thing we need to heal this country? Still need healing is love. So remember the 3 L's. Yes, I brought it back. I'm bringing it right back around. The 3 L's: live every moment, laugh every day, and love, 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 love beyond words. And I mean it. Reach out to these women. They work so hard. They're such an impactor, and they want to help others. You can see the heart of gold, heart of gold. So, and I'm going into that because you know what I always say that I end up with, what my motto is understanding. We understand their PPD, which is what? Their purpose, their passion, and their drive in their life. You can tell the passion they have. You can see the purpose they have, and you can definitely see the drive in these ladies. So I want you to hone into your own. That's your foundation. That's your foundation, which I call the diamond factor. But we want you not just to hone it in, just to keep it to yourself. We don't want that. We want you to open it up to the world because guess what? We need your gifts and genius to help move forward. And we go back and forth. So we help each other out when we share each other our gifts and our genius, which is our PPD, which is the diamond factor, as I called it, your foundation. We will be back on Monday. Mr. Marty's coming back to, talk about marketing and sales on his Mr. Happiness. And then who do we have? Oh, I think we're going to have a special guest. Can't tell you. When I say special guest, that means it's a surprise. So whatever you do for today, please reach out to somebody and just let them know how much you love them. Do the 3 L's, as I say. And with that, have a wonderful weekend. And we will see you on Monday. Talk to you later. Shine for the world.